Hello guys and welcome back to another evolution of games. This time let's take a look at the Far Cry series. Before we start, remember to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to know as soon as we publish a new video.
Pick up the radio if you can hear this.
Far Cry. Jack Carver has left his mysterious and bitter past behind him and dropped out of society to run a boat charter business in the South Pacific. He's hired by a woman named Valerie Constantine to take her secretly to an uncharted island in Micronesia. After Val takes off on her own with a jet ski, Jack's boat is blown apart by a rocket. With the help of a man named Doyle, Jack travels across the various islands, battling mysterious mercenaries in search for Val. The tropical rainforest provides cover and concealment, of which the player and enemies can take advantage. Enemies react dynamically to the player's tactics and actions. The game was published in 2004 for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 and Windows. Far Cry 2 is a sequel to the original Far Cry. Although the gameplay is vastly different in comparison, the game features an open-ended experience. Players are able to ally with one or multiple factions, and to progress through the game world and missions as they see fit, resulting in a non-linear style of gameplay commonly referred to as sandbox mode that allows the story to progress at their speeds and in the order they choose. Players can use a range of vehicles including cars, trucks, boats, and hang gliders to travel within the 50 square kilometers gameplay area. Also published for PlayStation 3, Xbox 360 and Windows in 2004. In 2012, Far Cry 3 was released for PlayStation 3 and 4, Xbox 360 and One, and PC. Jason Brody is on a vacation with a group of friends on the fictional Rook Islands between the Indian and Pacific Oceans, celebrating his younger brother Riley receiving a pilot's license. On a skydiving trip, they land on an island that turns out to be a pirate base and are kidnapped by pirate lord Paz Montenegro, who plans to sell them into slavery. Hook Island is an open world in which players can explore freely. Jason can travel using a variety of vehicles including dune bugs, all-terrain vehicles, cargo trucks, jet skis, boats, and hang gliding. Later in the game, players will find a wingsuit that Jason can wear. Far Cry 4, released in 2014 for PlayStation 3 and 4, Xbox 360 and One, and Windows. After the death of his mother Ishwari, Ajay returns to his home country of Kirat to carry out Ishwari's final wishes by returning her ashes to Lakshmana. However, his mission is interrupted when the bus he is traveling on is attacked by the royal army, and he is taken prisoner by pagan men, the country's eccentric and violent king. Like its predecessors, the game features some role-playing elements. Players can earn experience points by completing missions and defeating enemies, and these experience points can then be spent on performance boosts and upgrades. By the way, sorry for the mispronounced names. Far Cry Primal. The game is set in 10,000 BC during the end of the Upper Paleolithic and beginning of the Mesolithic periods in Europe. It takes place in the fictional Aurus Valley in the Carpathian Mountains of Central Europe, an open world filled with different types of flora and fauna. Unlike previous games, there is prehistoric wildlife such as woolly mammoths, dire wolves, cave bears, cave lions, Irish elk, and saber-toothed cats, along with forms of modern creatures like brown bears, badgers, and deer. Survival is a daily challenge as tribes come into conflict with one another and nature. Besides facing natural predators, the player must also compete with other hostile tribes occupying the area. By attacking and seizing bonfires and camps, the Linja tribe will move in and begin patrolling the nearby region, and the player will gain fast travel points as well as camps to rest in. The game was released for PlayStation 4, Xbox One and PC in 2016. Far Cry 5, a joint operation between the United States Marshal Service and the county sheriff's departments and the player character, an unnamed junior deputy arrived at the Eden's Gate Church to detain Joseph Seed with a federal arrest warrant on charges of kidnapping with the intent to harm. Although Joseph offers no resistance, he claims that God will not allow him to be taken. As he is escorted away, cult members attack the task force and cause their helicopter to crash. Joseph escapes and commands the cult to capture the task force members. The game is set in the fictional Hope County, Montana, where a preacher named Joseph has risen to prominence. The player takes on the role of a rookie sheriff's deputy, referred to as the Deputy, who is part of a task force sent to arrest Sid. Far Cry 5 launched in 2018 for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC and Stadia. Far Cry New Dawn. The story is set 17 years after the events of Far Cry 5. After the nuclear exchange known as the Collapse devastated the world, survivors attempt to rebuild the community in Hope County. Their efforts focus on prosperity, a township built on the remains of John Seed's ranch. The survivors are threatened by the Highwaymen, a roving band of organized bandits. The player assumes the role of a nude character, whose gender and ethnicity can be customized. The Guns and Fangs for Hire system from Far Cry 5 return, with the character being able to recruit human survivors and animals for combat assistance. In addition to new characters, the game's cast includes an array of returning characters from Far Cry 5. Far Cry New Dawn, released in 2019 for PlayStation 4, Xbox One, PC and Stadia. Far Cry 6 takes place on the fictional Caribbean islands of Yara, which is inspired by Cuba and described as the largest Far Cry playground to date in a tropical paradise frozen in time. It is ruled by El Presidente, Anton Castillo, a fascist dictator with full control over the island. Castillo is guiding his son Diego, who is unsure of his own future, to follow in his footsteps. Esposito described his character as a leader, trying to empower the people to understand that they need strong leadership now, but is stuck in the middle of a revolution. Esposito further added that his father was a dictator before him, and he wants to empower the people to take their country back. His goal is to use the resources that they have within the country to survive without allowing outsiders to come in and co-opt their scientists, their intellectual property. Esposito continues that Anton is trying to empower his son to take up his mantle and really embrace ideas that would allow him to see that soon he will probably be the next leader in the country. The player takes the role of a local Yara named Danny Rojas, a former soldier in the Yaran Armed Forces, guerrilla soldier fighting for freedom who attempts to restore the nation to its former glory. The player can select tennis gender at the start of the game. Far Cry 6 is launching for PlayStation 4 and 5, Xbox One and Xbox Series X, PC and Amazon Luna, launching this October 7th, 2021. And there is more on our YouTube channel, blog, and live streaming on Twitch. Links in the description. That's all, and thanks for watching.